everybody. It's Isaiah here. I decided to do something different today and basically give you a tour of my room. This is basically where I do everything. You've seen this room in a bunch of my music videos. You've seen this when I do a bunch of announcements and when I work on stuff. This is where I record all my material. This is where I record all my albums and everything like that. This is where I do all my creative work. It's all done in this room. I tried to make it a goal ever since we moved in here a few years ago, my family and I, to try to make this a very creative space, a very place where I feel like I can express myself. So basically, that's the goal, and I feel like I've kind of accomplished that goal. I'm going to go start with here, and I'm going to go on out. There's some things that are just not really, there's not much to explain. I'm just going to just show them. And we're just going to go along, and we're just going to go follow along around here. I guess we could start off with that. If you remember this one from the point of view video, Sir Patrick Stewart over here. I don't really know. I just decided to keep it there after filming the point of view music video. I really like it. I thought it was really super cool, and I put Mona Lisa there as of recently. And for some reason, I've been obsessed with maps. So you see, I think that's the Six Flags map, and that's the Broad map, which is a really cool art museum in Los Angeles. Over here, I have the Hero's Journey, which is basically just basically a really cool format when writing stories, and so I leave it there just in case if I want to write anything. A bunch of human genetics stuff that I'm very interested in, so I just hung it up on the wall. And the Colossians 3:23 verse, the verse that keeps me going and inspires me every morning. This is actually something I always look at constantly. This is actually, as you can see, I'm linking the track list for the second album and the third album, and basically this is me this is basically me keeping track of what tracks should be on the album, what tracks shouldn't be on the album, what works, what doesn't work. And so basically, that's basically keeping track of everything that I'm doing. As you can see over here is a bunch of Plush Toys with a little bookshelf. There's some VHS tapes too. As you can see here, there's a bunch of VHS tapes. So I just placed a bunch of stuff there. I haven't really sorted this out, and I'm probably going to plan to sort this out a little bit more, especially during the whole quarantine thing. So that's a plan. This shelf here is 1/4 of my movie collection. I'll kind of more enforce of my film collection a little bit more, but these are my favorite films of all time. There's a few slots that are empty because my family has been borrowing movies from my collection to watch when they're bored. Most recently, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest and Full Metal Jacket, and then I don't know if the extra film. Oh yeah, it's Mr. Rogers. It's the Mr. Rogers DVD that I was just playing earlier while editing another video. Again, this is Kevin Sherald McFly. He just chills in the room. He's just pretty cool. This is my hat collection. I thought it was really cool just to hang them up like this way. Some of my favorite hats, including the Halloween Horror Nights hat, the Shrek hat, and then basically, and this Wiggles hat I had when I was very young, when I watched the Wiggles for the first time. And so basically, this is my hat collection. And then I hung a bunch of artworks and stuff like that. There's all the pencils and pens and markers and stuff like that, and scissors when I need to cut down guitar strings when I am restringing them. And then just a bunch of stuff here. Not really important stuff. I have a bunch of files which has a lot of archives from my previous work, from artwork, and everything like that. I need to resort this. A bunch of Legos here. You may notice some of these from the point of view music video, but I may use this in the future for a future music video, just in the future. Okay, this is my TV. Basically, once you turn on the Amazon Prime, well, actually it's the Amazon Fire, my bad. So I have the Amazon Fire Stick that's plugged to my TV. Once you turn this on, it basically turns on everything else, the Blu-ray, and I could possibly try to work the VHS, but that's basically it. Once you turn this on, it basically powers on everything else, and all you just need to do is change the source, and basically it works like that. I'm not going to turn it on right now because it's pretty late, and I just wanted to just make this video. Down here, down there is my CD collection. I can pull it out and show you what CDs I have, but I'm not going to do that. That's where that's where I have all my CDs. Where if I want to, I can pull them out. Some early inspirations, and recently I got King Gizzard and a few King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard CDs. This box here is a bunch of props. If I want to make music videos and stuff like that, I always keep handy. And sometimes if I need like glasses props, like for example, like glasses, I kind of just grab from this box, basically from here. Over here is the main kind of like office space. This is where I work on all my music material. As you can see, the Focusrite, my hard drive, all my songwriting notebooks, which I recently sorted out. And basically, I kind of just tried to keep this as clean as possible. Also, shout out to Captain Crunch. Just gonna focus on that. This is basically where I work on all my projects. This is where I feel like this is where I work mainly. Whenever I'm recording, I actually go, recently I decided to add this as an addition. I just pull out all the gear here with all the XLR cables and the instrument cables and everything that I need. And the microphones, which I use a Shure SM57 to record a majority of the material. One day I'm gonna get a condenser microphone, but that will be eventually soon in time. I also sometimes use those speakers occasionally. I don't really use them a lot because they're kind of crappy, so I really depend on headphones. The headphones I'm wearing right now to actually monitor me speaking right now, because I'm using a lav mic. These are all my instruments, so I have a crappy bass, and then these are my guitars, and this one still needs to be restringed, but basically I have easy access to every one of them, and if I want to switch in the tuners, I have 2 tuners, so I can switch it anytime between them. Over here is just a bunch of books and stuff like that, and a bunch of notebooks referencing like old like notebooks basically from my classes at college and high school. So basically I come back to them and sometimes reference them for future work. Over here is my Funko Pop collection. I need to clean this out a little bit more. And Audrey Hepburn is down. I'll just try to stand her up for the video. Over here is, speaking of Audrey Hepburn, this is a photo of Two for the Road with a bunch of drawings that I made to just decorate and make the place look a little bit cooler. And yeah, a bunch of chords if I want to be inspired to write stuff. If I feel like I'm out of chord ideas, I go over here. A bunch of comic strips, which I just placed there randomly. I grabbed this from one of my high school classes, and I found them while sorting my room, like cleaning up my room again, so I just decided to hang it up. This is where I sleep. There's nothing really that important there. Over here is my keyboard. Right now it's covered with a bunch of stuff. I'm probably going to clean it out, but whenever I need to play some MIDI and connect it here, I'd basically pull this out, plug this wire in to the computer, to my laptop, and that will be basically where I can start recording MIDI and recording material from there. Under this bed is the rest of my film collection, which I haven't gotten to sort out yet recently. As you can see, there is a bunch of them, and I have to really sort this out. But basically, I've kind of have like 3 boxes full of movies and films. I originally had an original sorting system, which basically was over here. This was the original sorting system, and basically it was going to tell which place was it, like box 1, box 2, the DVD rack, all this kind of stuff. It was gonna, and it used to be a crap box for all the crappy films that I had in my collection, but that didn't. So I have to redo this a little bit more because my collection has expanded since then, and yeah, it's been wild. Over here is another shelf of my films. This is where I actually put all the Criterions, actually. The Criterion Collection is kind of a bunch of collection of films that have been very dear to my heart. Some of these are my favorite films of all time. They're not on the shelf because I wanted to sort the Criterions by like spine number. I know that sounds very pretentious of me to do that, but I absolutely love it. In here is actually a bunch of comic books, and I have been collecting comic books while I was in my time at Norco College. And basically, there's a cool little comic book shop across the street, which I basically, all the cheap comics I buy there. And then there's also a comic book store that I visit occasionally when my family is going out, and they sell pretty cheap comic books from here on out. A bunch of posters. I have Kristen Stewart, Courtney Barnett's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, this Teen Titans poster that I got from WonderCon, and then this little map from the Criterion edition of Moonrise Kingdom, Beck and Jack White. I got that actually from a magazine that was on sale at my library. And then this wall here is the Wall of Awesomeness. I might revamp this in the future, but basically it's just a bunch of posters and stuff like that. I have a bunch of former artwork I made. You might notice this guy from my Instagram. And then there's a bunch of drawings that I've done in my art classes and all that kind of stuff. It's all there. Basically, I've just put it up there. And then some stickers. Basically, I'm just put all my posters here, and this is where I put all, yeah, I decided just to put all my posters over here. Oh, and I'm also gonna mention this one. This is the photo wall. I've kind of mentioned about this briefly. I don't know if I mentioned this, but this is like a wall of like photographs featuring the people that I care about, my friends, some family, some of my intimate family. And so basically I'm hoping to expand this more as hopefully I'm gonna change this up a little bit more as time goes by, because not every friendship lasts forever, but I do hope that all these friendships last forever as much as possible. But if it happens, I guess. Recording has stopped because it reached the 12-minute limit, but there's people like Dave Goals and Epigraph Battles of History, which are absolutely not friends or family at all, but I want to change that up in the future. So I'm going to adjust this. I'm going to probably adjust this as the weeks go by. More drawings and paintings and stuff like that, and more art projects, trying to be artsy. You know what? I'm going to show the closet. It's a little bit messy, but I'm going to just show you a little bit just briefly. This is really messy. This is where I put all my mic stands and everything like that. I don't know if I have the mic stand. Oh yeah, I have this is the mic stand that I use for all my recording projects. I just pull this out whenever I can. This 21 Pilots backpack, which basically I just hang it up there because I wore this I brought this to school for a few years, and then it broke down, but I still like to hang it up there. Some exclusive Funko Pops, and then I have some notebooks for more reference, and then some more creative stuff to kind of reference in the future, like the Stanley Kubrick archives, which, because I'm a film fanatic, I love to read, and also the Wes Anderson collection. I know I sound very pretentious, but basically I really love these. And then sometimes I can look into these boxes and they'll have a bunch of other stuff, like cool material that'll inspire me to work harder and kind of be more creative. One more thing, this is all the extra XLR cables and all that stuff. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't work, but really in general, they're basically I use this once in a while. I grab some cables from here once in a while. This is where all the old cables I used to grab. This is where I used to grab my cables before, but now that has changed because I have a new system. And then the rest are clothing, so I'm gonna move away and turn this off. Oh, I'll just shout this out. My Pro Tools certificate, even though I don't even use Pro Tools. I use the demo version of FL Studio and my Norco Music Awards, which I didn't even show up because I went to prom. I was in high school when I won that. Not a big deal. Anyway, that is basically the tour of the room. Actually, I'm going to show you what the room is like without the fairy lights because I just turned it on. Actually, I'll just show you right now. Basically, this is what it looks like without the fairy lights on. This is basically how the room looks like. Fairy lights, Christmas lights, whatever you call it. Also, there's another one. There's another light switch here. There used to be a lamp stand over there, but yeah, it didn't really light well. That being said, this is my room. This is where I do all my creative projects. Basically, if I want to be inspired, I can go read something here, or I can read something in the comic book place. If I want to watch a film, I have all these films, which I have to obviously sort it out. Shout out to the lighthouse, which that does not deserve to be down there, but in a mess. But it's a great film, and it's coming to Amazon Prime this April. I'm just gonna promote that straight off. Yeah, this is my room, and so I'm gonna try to improve this as time goes by, but I wanted to give a tour of the room and the space. Sorry if there was a video cut off. There's a limit on how these Canon cameras work. But that being said, yeah, have a good day, have a good night, have a good life, and God bless you. Signing off, bye.